Greetings, everyone, and welcome to my 2018 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview. Okay, so today we're going to check out this shelf here, which has kind of a grab bag of stuff. It's all DVDs in the back row, and then almost all Blu-rays in the front row here. So you got stuff like crime dramas, and cop shows, and samurai movies, and westerns, and gangster movies, and yeah, let's just get to it. We got a lot to go through. Okay, so starting from this side here, first up we have a little Sherlock Holmes section. Got this lovely box set of Sherlock Holmes' Greatest Mysteries. Has 8 movies and 39, basically a single season series of 39 episodes. Seasons were a lot longer back in the day. And inside the tin is basically, just going to open it up here. Hold on a second. I can't remember how this opens. Ah, yeah, the lid just comes off. Inside is the actual just regular keep case edition of it there. You could get this separately at the time as well, but there were editions that came in these snazzy tins. Very nice. Some pretty cool rarities on there. And then we have a double feature of Sherlock Holmes mysteries starring Christopher Lee as the famous detective. Very cool. And then we have The Hound of the Baskervilles starring Peter Cushing as the intrepid detective and Christopher Lee as Mr. Baskerville, I think. I forget. Christopher Lee as Sir Henry Baskerville, yeah. So pretty cool to have both of them in a Sherlock Holmes movie together. And then we've got a little bit of crime drama section here. So we've got Goodfellas. I actually put off getting Goodfellas for a very long time because there were a few minor issues with the previous transfer. This one is a complete remaster and is a very, very nice addition. And then we have the Godfather, the Francis Ford Coppola restoration. So this has all 3 Godfather movies. Very nice. I actually still have yet to watch 2 and 3, believe it or not. I've only seen the first one. Then we have Touch of Evil, the classic with Charlton Heston and Orson Welles. Oh, and Janet Leigh as well from Psycho fame. This is a great movie, and this has, I think, 3 different cuts. Yeah, this has 3 different cuts on it, which is pretty cool. And then we have the special limited edition Steelbook of Scarface. So this has not only the 1983 Scarface, but also has the original Scarface from back in the day. Only on DVD though. The 83 version is on Blu-ray, so kind of cool. Then we got a double bill from Mill Creek. We've got Billy Bathgate and Blaze. Very nice. These are really good value. And then we have Donnie Brasco. This is I guess a UK edition. It is region free though, so no worries playing that one. And then we have the Untouchables, which I think is still the problematic transfer that's been floating around for ages. I don't think it's ever been redone. Oh, of course not, because it's Paramount. Paramount doesn't remaster anything. Yeah, well, they did Star Trek 2, and that was it. And then we have Eastern Promises. There we go. We got One Good Cop with Michael Keaton, and A Stranger Among Us with Melanie Griffith. Another Mill Creek double bill here. And then we have The Organization, starring Sidney Poitier. I think it's actually the third one. I have these out of order here. And of course we have They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. So returning as Mr. Tibbs from In the Heat of the Night, which I need to reacquire that actually. Then we have Midnight Express, based on a true story, just a harrowing tale of a guy who gets thrown into a Turkish prison. Wonderful soundtrack for that, though, by the way. Then we have, where is it here? Gone Girl. It's a special edition, comes with a sort of a storybook that ties into the movie. So very nice. And then we have a little Criterion, a very small Criterion section here, just a couple of titles. You'll see my Criterions are kind of scattered around. So we have David Lynch, Eraserhead. This is basically his directorial debut, his feature-length directorial debut. I've seen this movie quite a few times, and it's still just as disturbing now as the first time I watched it. Great, great stuff. Starring the wonderful Jack Nance in the title role. Then we have Crumb, a just absolutely fantastic documentary about the life of Robert Crumb and his family, actually. Directed by Terry Zwigoff, who did Bad Santa, actually. Then we got a little mystery section here. We have Gosford Park. Wonderful, very British mystery, directed by Robert Altman, who was kind of known for his Americana-type films. But wonderful cast in that, and just a great, great movie. And here we have the first season of Riverdale, which I've kind of described as Archie meets Twin Peaks. It's great stuff. I still got to watch season 2. Really enjoyed season 1, though, obviously, because I bought it. And we have the Steelbook of the first Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. I guess I should put this with my other Sherlock Holmes stuff. I might rearrange that at some point. And we've got the second one, Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. And apparently they're finally doing a third one, so that's pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed that take on Sherlock Holmes. A lot of fun. And we have a Western section here. We got Red Hill, which is essentially an Australian Western set in modern day. This is such a good movie. I highly recommend this for anybody who hasn't seen it and wants a terrific sort of modern Western with quite a twist to it that you don't see coming. We've got Rio Bravo, the all-time classic Howard Hawks film with John Wayne, Dean Martin, and Ricky Nelson. Very nice. And I don't know why this is in the Westerns. Maybe it's just the design of the case, but it ended up there. We have The Big Lebowski, Steelbook edition. Not Steelbook, Digibook. Digibook edition. See, look at the Digibook. There we go. It's a Digibook. It's very nice. Great movie. I got to watch that again. I don't know why this is up here. It needs to be done in the comedy section, I think. Anyway, then we got How the West Was Won, Cinerama edition. This contains the Smile Box edition as well, which duplicates the curved screen of Cinerama. Great, great stuff. And we have Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Classic, Paul Newman, Robert Redford. This one's a lot of fun. It's a double bill from Twilight Time. Support your local sheriff and support your local gunfighter. This is kind of a loving parody of Westerns and spaghetti Westerns and a lot of the tropes of them. And stars James Garner, Jim Rockford himself. Great stuff. We have a couple of Mill Creek spaghetti Western double bills here. Double bills. We have The Last Gun and $4 of Revenge. And then here we got another one, which is The Grand Duel and Keoma. Grand Duel is really good. I've watched that one a few times. We have The Magnificent Seven, the classic Western interpretation of The Seven Samurai. Then we have Lee Van Cleef in The Day of Anger, Arrow Edition. This was sent to me by Skinslip. I still got to watch it. He said, yeah, if you like spaghetti westerns, you need to see this movie. It's so damn good. So I definitely appreciate his recommendation, and he rarely steers me wrong. And then we have The Man with No Name trilogy, of course. Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Great stuff. And then we get into my samurai section. I'm really looking to expand this section a lot, because I love samurai movies. We have 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves. This isn't actually a samurai movie, but it's Akira Kurosawa, so I just kind of put it together with his films. We have Akira, which I understand is quite an emotionally powerful film. I'm looking forward to that. Rashomon. I love this movie. This is so good. This is a classic point of view story. Really good stuff. And then, of course, we have the aforementioned Seven Samurai. Love these Criterion editions. They weren't so bloody expensive. I'd definitely have more of them. We have Throne of Blood, which is kind of Akira Kurosawa's samurai take on the story of Macbeth. Very cool. And then we have the one of the primary inspirations for Star Wars, The Hidden Fortress. It's great stuff. Watched this one a few times too. It's really fun. And then we have a double bill of Yojimbo and Sanjuro, which is essentially a comedy done by Akira Kurosawa, parodying the samurai genre and a lot of the tropes in it. And it's also a proper samurai film itself, as only Kurosawa could do. And then we have the Sword of Doom. Great stuff there. Kagemusha, another classic samurai one by Kurosawa. You can see I do like me some Akira Kurosawa. We have Lady Snowblood. This is a double feature, has both movies based on the classic manga. Got Lady Snowblood and Lady Snowblood Love Song of Vengeance. Then we have James Clavell's Shogun. This is the entire miniseries edited together into a massive 5-hour-long movie. And it is fantastic. I love this. And then we have The Twilight Samurai. And finally, we have Ninja Assassin. Not really a Shogun movie, but a samurai movie, but really this was the best section for it to fit into. Alright, so now I got to clear all this off so we can get into the back row. Okay, boy, you can really see the bowing of the shelf. Yeah, this is the joy of the cheap Walmart shelves. Anyway, in the back here, you can see a little bit more drama stuff that kind of fits into some of the Criterions. I've got my cop shows and private detective shows. Got a collection of things here. Some espionage stuff and more westerns, basically. And then I've also got a few random dramas and action movies that wouldn't really fit anywhere else, and I didn't have room in my overflow bins for them, so I just kind of stuck them up here. And then we have a few Sword and Sandal or Peplum movies as well. So let's start over here. I'll just take a look. So we've got the Magnificent Ambersons, which is the sort of the second masterpiece by Orson Welles after he did Citizen Kane, but notorious in that it was heavily cut down by the studio without Orson Welles' involvement, and sadly all that footage has been lost forever. Then we have Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard that was sent to me by Skinslip. It's one of his all-time favorite sort of French new wave cinema movies. He basically upgraded to the Blu-ray, so he sent me his old DVD edition and wanted me to check it out. And I actually watched that for the first time when I did my first movie marathon a number of years ago. We have the Kissology. This was sent to me by Metal Madness a while back. This is volume 1, has a collection of concert footage, interviews, and all kinds of cool stuff from the early days of Kiss. I keep meaning to pick up the second volume, because the second volume is the one that has their TV movie, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, which is definitely a favorite of mine from when I was a kid. Then you got Adam Sandler, Punch Drunk Love, sent to me by Stoudman a while ago. And we have The Outsiders. Actually, a couple of viewers sent this to me. I think I sold off the duplicate, but kept one, obviously, to keep and watch. And then we have Blood, Guts, Bullets, and Octane, which is the directorial debut of Joe Carnahan, who directed a movie that I don't think gets anywhere near enough love, namely Narc, with Ray Liotta and Jason Patric. It's just such a great, intense movie that really screams for a Blu-ray release. And then we have American Beauty. There we go. And Time Code, which is an old favorite of mine. The entire movie was shot on digital video and is shown in split screen. So it's actually 4 simultaneous digital video streams that kind of flow back and forth between them to guide you through the story. But it's all these events happening simultaneously, and the whole thing was done in like one continuous take. It's pretty impressive stuff. They had to do several takes, obviously, to get it right. But here we have a favorite of mine. This is a Mill Creek set. This is the Warriors collection. So we have 50 Sword and Sandal or Peplum films. Quite a massive list of them. I did a video about this set a while back, just kind of going through the contents. This set is so much fun. I love these movies, and I'd really like to get a lot more of them. And then we have Dawn of the Immortals, which is another Sword and Sandal collection. This has a few movies that aren't in the 50 movie collection, so nice to have that as well. And then we have A History of Violence. And finally we have Talk Radio. I really like Oliver Stone's stuff. He's a very unique and gutsy director, I think. Okay, so that takes care of all the stuff that was piled on top. So here we've got cop shows. So we'll start off here with one of the granddaddies of them all. Got NYPD Blue, Season 1. This is great. I love these thicker cases that they came in originally. And then Season 2. And then it was a really long wait after Season 2 until we got Season 3, where they stopped doing the big nice artwork cases and basically just did a little slipcase with some slim cases in it. They also switched to flipper discs, single layer flipper discs, so not really any playback problems, but still just kind of annoying. They started to cheap out on the releases. And then they only went as far as Season 4, and it was in limbo for a really long time. And then Shout Factory, bless their hearts, picked up the license and released the remaining 8 seasons, which, as you can see, I still need to pick up. I will get those one of these days. And sadly, this year we lost Stephen Bochco, who was the fellow responsible for that show, and this one, Brooklyn South, which I haven't watched the whole thing. I've watched a bit of it, and this is also really gritty and intense, much like NYPD Blue. But for whatever reason, just didn't catch on. It only lasted 1 season. And here we have Crime Story, basically a story about a special unit, kind of like the Untouchables, actually. It's basically a special unit of police officers sort of set up to deal with mafia crime in the city, set in the 50s as well. It's really, really good show. Done by Michael Mann, creator of Miami Vice. And just before we carry on, speaking of Miami Vice... this is from the box set selection. I pulled it down just to show you where it was relevant. So this is the Miami Vice collection, this beautiful alligator skin set. It's all 5 seasons. I do plan to pick up the recently released Blu-ray set. You see that? The faux alligator skin? Yeah, I do plan to pick up the recently released Blu-ray set at some point just to have a nice upgrade for this. But what a beautiful display with some gunk on the side there. But anyway, beautiful display piece. I love this set quite a lot. And then carrying on, we have, this is a great collection from Mill Creek. This is the Primetime Crime collection. And the thing that's cool about this is this contains a whole bunch of short-lived shows that barely made it through a season, sometimes only a part of a season, but that have never been released anywhere else. So it's a great collection to be able to have a lot of those short-lived shows, and some of them are really good. They just didn't catch on for whatever reason. And specifically, these are all shows by Stephen J. Cannell, who was a huge, prolific writer and creator of television shows throughout the 70s and 80s. He was kind of one of the major players there. So this is really good. It's got, what has it got? It has Missing Persons, Broken Badges, Palace Guard, and Unsub, the complete series of all of those. And then it has 12 other episodes. It has the pilot, the 2-part pilot of Wise Guy, a 2-part story of The Commish, a 2-part story of Hunter, an episode of Cobra, an episode of The Greatest American Hero, an episode of 10 Speed and Brown Shoe, Silk Stockings, 21 Jump Street, and Booker. So it's got quite a selection of stuff there, many of which they've released other sets of, like the bigger series they released complete series sets or near complete series sets. And then, but in particular, I wanted it for those short-lived ones that, you can't really get anywhere else. It's a great set. So here we have Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer, starring Stacy Keach. Stacy Keach played Mike Hammer in a number of television series, and it was kind of one of his big claims to fame. This particular set has the 2 TV movies that basically kicked off the series, and it's great stuff. And then sadly, we've never got a release of the series, which followed. What we got was this, which is Mike Hammer, Private Eye, which is a second series that he did a number of years later, and it's actually set more in modern day, whereas the original Mike Hammer was more of a period piece set in, I think it was like the 50s or 60s. And so anyway, it didn't quite have the same vibe to it, and a lot of fans didn't like it as much. So I don't know why we still don't have Mike Hammer on DVD. It was huge. It was a huge show when it came out. And then we have the Rockford Files movie collection, Volume 1, which contains 4 movies. So this is several TV movies that they did long after the original Rockford Files TV series wrapped up. And this is Volume 2 of the movie collection with the remaining 4 movies. Now, the reason I got these is because Mill Creek recently got the rights to the Rockford Files and re-released it on both DVD and on Blu-ray for the first time. So I really want to get the Blu-ray set. I used to have some of the season sets a while back, but I really want to get the Blu-ray set. And apparently the TV movies were not part of their deal, so they're not included. So I grabbed these just on the off chance that they might have gone out of print, just to have them, to make sure I had them in the collection. And I still have yet to pick up the Blu-ray set. And then I have Brick, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Great sort of modern detective story. And I got Peter Gunn. This is a terrific TV movie starring Peter Strauss, who was kind of the king of TV movies and miniseries at the time. But it's a great update of the classic character. It's actually very witty, very well written, and a lot of fun. It doesn't have any of the original cast from the TV show in it, but as a standalone TV movie, this is a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend checking it out if you get a chance. It's really good. And then we kind of get into some spy stuff here. We've got the first season of Burn Notice. Here we go. And then we have the complete first season of La Femme Nikita. This is such a good show. I love this show. I still got to finish watching it, actually. I got as far as, I think, partway into season 4. I just never got around to finishing it. I need to reacquire season 2. I think I sold a couple of them back in the day and never got around to replace them. I keep forgetting. I have not seen the newer Nikita series that was done. I hear that one was quite good as well, although quite different from this version. This was more a direct inspiration of the original movie, which is quite good. And then finally, we have season 5. I think it was actually originally canceled after season 4, and then they brought it back for a shorter season to allow them to kind of wrap up the story. So that was kind of nice of them. Now, before we get on to the last little section here, this is as close as I have to a mystery section because we kind of got some mystery stuff here, so I wanted to show you a couple of other things I have. Speaking of private eyes, I have a collection of one of the greatest private eyes ever. Of course, talking about Columbo, the man in the rumpled raincoat himself. Great stuff, the inimitable Peter Falk. So this is the complete series set that I got a while ago. Got it for a steal, too. It was like $57, I think, for the whole set, which is a really, really good deal. It was like a Boxing Day deal. So this has all 7 seasons and all of the post-series TV movies. So absolutely everything Columbo is in here. And it even has a few episodes of Mrs. Columbo, the short-lived spin-off series about his wife. And let's see, what else have I got here? This is a great mystery series. Very kind of underrated, I think. Nowhere Man, starring Bruce Greenwood, who you may recognize from the recent Star Trek movies. He played Captain Pike. So, Christopher Pike. So anyway, really good series. Basically a mystery, conspiracy type thing. Really a lot of fun. Basically about a photographer who sees something that he maybe shouldn't have, and there's mysterious people coming after him now. And it's all about him trying to sort of uncover the clues of what happened and what the truth is and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I really liked it a lot. Some aspects of it are a little bit dated now, but the overall mystery and such is still very much intact. And speaking of old school mysteries, no mystery section would be complete without this one. Yeah, so I got Twin Peaks, the definitive gold box edition, which is quite nice. A lot of extras on here. Yeah, this is a great set. I love it. And then, well, when it came out on Blu-ray, I had to upgrade it because this is a series I can rewatch over and over again. I mean, even knowing the mystery and how it turns out, it's just visiting that town and those crazy supernatural goings on and those quirky characters is just always such a joy. And before anyone asks, I have seen the new series. Well, actually, if you're on my channel, you'll be well aware of that because I watched it as it aired and did reaction videos for all 18 episodes. I still have to pick up the Blu-ray set, though. I've not actually grabbed it yet, so I do need to pick that up. And there was also recently a Criterion release of the movie Fire Walk with Me, so I might grab that just just to have as a nice collection. Although honestly I don't know that there's much on that Criterion collection that isn't also on the movie in this set. So this includes absolutely everything, including the missing pieces, which was a big incentive to buy this. It's 90 minutes of deleted scenes from the movie, and some of it is pretty cool stuff. So there you go. Okay, so that wraps up the mystery section. Some pretty good good stuff in there. And then now we have the last of the westerns. So we have Lee Van Cleef in Sabata. There we go. There's a Region 2 DVD. And then we have another John Wayne. We have The Sons of Katie Elder. A lot of these I haven't watched. I really got to get around to that. I have like a Western week or something. There we go. And then here we got some terrific spaghetti western collections from Mill Creek. We've got a 20 movie set of spaghetti westerns. Just a big collection of movies there. And I've watched a good chunk of those, actually. I really enjoy these a lot. And we got 10,000 Ways to Die, which is another spaghetti western collection from Mill Creek. And it's got quite a few movies. There is quite a lot of overlap between these sets. But inevitably, almost every one of these collections has at least a few movies that the other doesn't. And given how cheap they are, I mean, it's a no-brainer to pick them up. This is the big one here. This is the 44-movie collection of spaghetti westerns. It's quite nice. Is it 11 discs? Yeah. And it's got, as you can see, quite a sizable list of movies there. It's really good stuff. Next up, we have... Oh, look, the Magnificent Seven again. Yeah, well, I guess it's nice to have a different edition, and I think this might actually have some other extras. Yeah, I don't know where the... Oh, I stacked them somewhere because I had to get to the back shelf. Never mind, it's probably the same extras. I didn't really look too closely. It's just like, oh, westerns, I'll put them in the western section. And then we have Once Upon a Time in the West, the epic from Sergio Leone, director of the Man with No Name trilogy and many other things. And you can see quite a few special features on this one. And this is also a Region 2 release. And then we have Red Sun, which looks awesome. Looks like a kind of a combination of Western and Samurai. We've got Toshiro Mifune and Charles Bronson and Ursula Andress. Oh my god, the original Bond girl. That is so cool. Yeah, so this is... definitely a cool one. I think I've seen bits of this one, actually, when it was on TV one time. This sounds familiar. So, yeah, definitely going to enjoy checking that one out. And then finally, we have Robert Mitchum and Teresa Wright in Pursued. I'm guessing it's a bit of a chase movie. That's good stuff. So there we go. So I just got to put everything back on the shelf here. I'm just checking here. Well, this says a documentary on the making of the film and an audio commentary. This says a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't specifically say a making of. It does say some other thing. Oh, Guns for Hire, the making of the Magnificent Seven. I think this has all the same stuff on it, but I'm going to keep this here anyway, just in case. There we go. And we're going to take that classic Western adventure, The Big Lebowski, and put it into the comedy section. Oh, just before we go, quick addendum. I realized when I was reviewing the footage for this segment that I missed a couple, and I didn't know where they were. Turns out I'd accidentally packed them away with some other stuff. So, a couple of significant additions here. We have the Criterion edition of Akira Kurosawa's Ronin, which is an absolutely fantastic samurai film, one of my all-time favorites. I love this movie. There is a Blu-ray release put out by Studio Canal, but apparently it's kind of lacking in picture quality. There was a 4K remaster recently, only available in Region B Blu-ray. Also apparently kind of lacking in some respects, so I don't know. I might just go with the Studio Canal one. It's kind of sounding like there might be issues with the original source elements. The problem is it's like a really old DVD from like 2000 or Blu-ray from 2010. So honestly, I don't know how much of an upgrade it's going to be over the Criterion DVD. It's too bad they never did a Blu-ray edition of that. I guess they lost the rights. But anyway, another one, also a Criterion. We have Band of Outsiders, which is another Jean-Luc Godard film, and a nice companion piece to Breathless. So there you go. Pretty cool grab bag of stuff, I think. Alrighty, so next time we'll be taking a look at this shelf here, which is kind of another grab bag of stuff. We got Christmas movies and dramas and action and a bunch of stuff. So hope you'll join me for that. Until then, thanks for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors, and I'll see you next time. Until then, sayonara. Okay, so today we're going to check out this shelf here, which is kind of one of my miscellaneous shelves. We're not quite into the full genre stuff. Oh, just before we go, quick addendum. I was digging through one of my boxes. I realized, bleh,